Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we've got Spider-Woman. This is actually, I was wrong. I thought it was the 80s. It was really close, though. It was 1979. It's only one season. It's only 16 episodes. I remember them advertising the crap out of this in comic books, like old comic books from that era. You can't go an issue without seeing that stack of cartoons that was on that in that era, although it eventually got adapted into Fox Kids at some point, because Fox didn't exist back in 1979. So eventually, you'll see at the very end here, after the Saban Entertainment thing and everything else, it has a Fox Kids logo on it, or Fox Kids TV or something like that. And this is also originally, brought to television by Stan Lee. This is one of Stan Lee's many attempts to make Marvel a big deal back in the day. Beyond, we had the Incredible Hulk TV series with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno and other things. Well, this is one of his animated ventures, Spider-Woman. We already had Spider-Man. We had plenty of Spider-Man cartoons and even a live-action Spider-Man TV series, which in many cases are better forgotten, but they're classics for when I was a kid. I loved them. So, but I had never watched Spider-Woman. I know the character really well from reading the comics, and so I can pick out the little bit of the discrepancies between the cartoon and the comic. If I want to be nerdy, this show gives me plenty of opportunity to be super nerdy about Jessica Drew and her alter ego. By the way, Jessica Drew in the comics becoming Spider-Woman is one of the most convoluted origin stories next to Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. But yeah, her parents were Hydra or scientists and things like. Yeah, there's a spider involved, but it's not as clear cut in the comics as it is here in the show. They make it really simple because this is 100% for kids, and it's pretty dumbed down in all aspects of the character. One of the funniest things is that she puts Spider in front of everything. She has so many freaking powers, or so many different types of webbing, and shoot my spider ropes, or my spider spiral, or my spider vision, like she has spidey sense like Spider-Man does, but she literally sees just like psychic visions of crimes that are happening somewhere else in the world. Like there aren't like tens of thousands of, not hundreds of thousands of crimes happening all at once at the same time around the world. Apparently she can zero in on this one particular one that needs to be taken care of in a fantastic fashion for each episode of our 22-minute cartoons. This cartoon is really, really, really bad, but it's so bad it's awesome. It is, it's one of those really bad, awesome cartoons with loads of misogyny. And, Jessica leans into it because she's a reporter for Justice magazine, because one of the few jobs that women can have in popular media always involves working for magazines or a fashion company or a fashion magazine. In this case, she works for Justice magazine. It's a crime magazine. I guess that, helps get her gigs, because she can also use the jet copter to go anywhere she needs to go in a matter of minutes, maybe hours at most. It's like, oh, Egypt? Let's go to Egypt. Jet copter. Boom. The Amazon? Let's go to the Amazon. Jet copter. Boom. So, yeah, it's every episode is her trying to make up excuses for not being around. Like, literally one point when they're in the middle of, I guess, the Amazon jungle in the City of Gold, spoilers, they're like, come on, Jessica. She's always traveling with Jeff, her co-worker, who's a photographer for the Justice magazine. And for some reason, they let her 12-year-old nephew, Billy, tag along on everything. Yeah, yes, at first he finds a way to sneak his way into the jet copter or inject himself into the story somehow by using his calculator to figure out where things are going to happen or where they need to go. Or at least he pretends like it's his calculator that figured out, well, where are the mummies going to go? Well, the mummies are going to converge on this based on the angles of the pyramid. And then they're like, they're going to Egypt. Well, they're like, well, no, duh. He's like, you got that from your calculator? He's like, no, where do you think mummies are going to go? It's Egypt. Even space mummies. Spoiler. I'm going to spoil the heck out of this just because it's too funny to shut up about. But yeah, no, she leans into these things like, oh, come on, Jessica, let's get out of here. We got to go. We got to escape. She's like, hold on. I think I left my purse back at the temple. What? What? No. Leave your purse behind. Escape certain death. And so, of course, she has to go, take off and separate herself from them so that she can turn into Spider-Woman and do her spider clothes change. There's very many elements compared to Wonder Woman and the Batman 66 series. The scene changes usually have a spinning logo that come right at you. Her transformation is very much Linda Carter spinning around in a circle to change her outfit, or a version of that. By the way, she's played by Joan Van Ark, which is the only name I recognize in this cast. But Joan Van Ark was Young and the Restless and Knots Landing and all sorts of soaps and things like that back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it was. But yeah, Joan Van Ark is Spider-Woman. And at some point, I think Billy, I don't know if they changed actors or the kid just grew up, but like, I watched 5 episodes. Yes. I started one here in the living room, and then I just went into my office and just watched on my computer 4 more episodes. I just couldn't stop. I was going to wait until I was going to just plow through every single episode, but I just did not have enough time in the time allotted me. But I'm going to make sure I do it now. Again, going back, this is 1979. Every moment they get alone, or every moment they can, Jeff is trying to put the moves on Jess. And at first, you think, obviously there'd be, a romantic through line, and it's literally him trying to get her alone so they can have a hot dinner. Hot dinner. I'm gonna have a cold TV dinner. Why is that? Because Billy's always there to cock block. Sorry for the salty language, but Billy is a living cock block. He just, every time Jeff is about to start, hey, why don't we just, we're in this dark room together, developing pictures. Maybe it's time you and I, hey, it's me, Billy. and other times it's like, Jeff is in the middle of like a proposition, like, hey, you want to get it on kind of thing, without ever being sexual, like ever being, there's nothing racy about this whatsoever, so kids absolutely can watch this, enjoy this without you thinking they're going to get perverted or anything. But he's obviously putting the moves on Jess, and at one point Billy just steps on his line, and Jeff just goes like, how long have you been standing there? I mean that's kind of sophisticated, a bit of comedy for a cartoon like this, which is so terribly dumb in so many ways. There's so much misogyny on Jeff's part where he's like, man, I can't, believe that Jessica, maybe this is just a little bit too much, too intense for a woman, Jess. Maybe you shouldn't be going with us on these adventures to save the world. And there's even, and it's not even just Jeff. There's a point where in the 3rd episode or the 2nd episode, you know what? I'm going to go through these eventually. This is going to take a while. I'm going to go through this because there's some great little Marvel Easter eggs in the first 5 episodes alone But then there's also just some other crazy stuff. The third episode is the Amazon adventure. There's one point where these Amazon women, does this sound familiar to you? Well, they break into Fort Knox and start stealing gold. And at one point, like a military officer goes, they're just lifting gold bricks like grocery bags, as I've seen women do. Like, they didn't say that last part, but I added that on because it's literally like, well, you know how women carry grocery bags. They're lifting gold just like it. It's awesome. Yes, it's misogyny. It's stupid misogyny, but it's so laughable that it's right out front. It's awesome. So anyway, the episodes, I watched 5 episodes. The first one is Pyramids of Terror, and honestly, it's alien mummies bringing more pyramids to Earth to take it over. And then, by the way, the first person to the rescue, when the episode starts, it's like, oh, hey, Egypt's going nuts. Things are going crazy in Egypt. It's a job for Spider-Woman, because that's the name of the cartoon. Guess who's the hero is? Spider-Man. So she's not even the first hero you see in her own cartoon. It's Spider-Man. And obviously, yes, they were going to have a little bit of a crossover to start off, because, hey, Spider-Man's going to be in Spider-Woman's cartoon. You know him. You like him. Check her out. Check out her cartoon. Well, they don't even let him, just show up, in the middle of her adventure. He's literally leading up the thing. But yes, he does get damsel in distress. He does get captured by the mummies and almost gets turned into a mummy himself, like many of the people of the world have started to become mummies. And it's irreversible, from what I hear, except when it's not. And they defeat the mummies. Like, you know how mummies are supposed to be like dead guys or just almost hollowed out and rotting away? This mummy, the lead mummy, I think he even has a pharaoh hat on, or whatever. Pharaoh hat. He's kind of chunky. I'm not body shaming him, but still, it's kind of weird that this guy just looks nothing like traditional mummy, and he's got the hole in the strips of cloth, and just so he has his mouth, and he rides in a pyramid with a sphinx on top of it, which shoots mummy rays. Mummy rays. It's awesome. And the way they defeat it is technically not even Spider-Woman. I mean, maybe it's her idea, but it's Spider-Man. Like, she leads the guy flying the pyramid, the Sphinx pyramid. She makes him follow her, and he blocks her into an alleyway just in time for Spider-Man to swoop in and shoot webs at his pyramid so that it becomes a cube. Like, somehow he makes a cube and it defeats them. You have to see it to understand. You have to see it to understand how absolutely absurd this is. There is no good science whatsoever in any situation so far. That's just the first episode. And the second one, Realms of Darkness. That stars a huge Marvel villain, Dormammu. You would recognize him for the Doctor Strange movie, for those of you who don't read comics. But he looks nothing like Dormammu, not from the movie or the comics. He looks like the Green Goblin, or somebody wearing a Green Goblin mask with a Green Goblin outfit, flames coming out the top of his head like Ghost Rider, and then just like a red pentagram or whatever, upside down star on his chest, and he is cheesy as heck. He's that one is the less said the better. She's going up against a huge major player demon, and his job is to keep making his cult followers, spray gas into ventilation to turn everybody into zombies, in a sense, so they miss the eclipse, and then somehow she makes the moon move in order to put light on Dormammu, which defeats him. I've said too much. Amazon Adventure. She fights an army of Wonder Women. Yeah, if you ever want to have Spider-Woman fight Wonder Woman, there you go. Actually, the leader of the Amazon women is a woman named Shanna, which Marvel aficionados would know as Shanna the She-Devil. But she looks nothing like Shanna the She-Devil. It's just using the name, just Shanna, which I just thought was kind of weird. Shanna the She-Devil is sort of the jungle woman of the Marvel Universe. So yeah, she's not a jungle woman, but she is eternal, with living inside the Gold City or something. There's something with time travel or something. I don't know. Number 4 is the Ghost Vikings, and I was hoping that we'd see Thor, but no. Basically, these Vikings in the past have a magic mirror, and this one guy sends 3 Vikings through it into the present in his ghost ship, in a ghost ship, which almost crashes a cruise ship. Then she fights it off as as Spider-Woman, and then she changes back into Jessica, joins the boys on another boat, skipping the... It doesn't matter. She skips something really important, and so they could check out this thing, and they happen to get aboard the ghost boat, and she opens up a crate or a treasure chest that throws her back 800 years or something in the past, where she finds the guys making the plans to invade our modern day because they have ghost boats. Ghost boats. So, yeah, no, there's no Thor connection. It's just ghost boats and Vikings. It makes... Nothing makes sense. Nothing how they defeat them. Again, there's always excuses like, they're like, hey, Jessica, where were you? Oh, I was over there doing stuff. And then she's like, oh, a spider runs up her like, ooh, what's a spider? I'm such a girl. And so they're like, oh, man, you're not as cool as Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman would not be scared of spiders because that's in her name. So she plays it up hard that she's just this dumb bimbo who's like not the capable woman that Spider-Woman is. So Jessica Drew is a complete idiot to these people, even her nephew. Case in point, the 5th episode, the Kingpins strike again, which is really bad English. You would think the Kingpin strikes again. But yes, this actually stars the Marvel villain, the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, without actually... I don't think they say his name at all. They just call him Kingpin. She humiliates him right off the bat by defeating him and making fun of his size and everything else. And as a reporter also, after the fact, by writing a story about if his talent or his skill was as big as he was, then he'd be a top player or something. Whatever. She totally like makes fun of him as Jessica Drew, the reporter. And then he notices in the paper as they're reading this that there's an invisibility ray that exists. So they get that. He gets the invisibility ray, and he watches Jessica Drew change while he's invisible. Saying that now sounds horrible, but we know that she has super spinny spider power that she uses to turn into Jessica Jones. He doesn't sit there and leer at her while munching a hot dog in the corner as she takes off her clothes and puts on her skin-tight Spider-Woman outfit. That does not happen. That's not a thing that happens. So, by the way, the only way, once she gets a hold of the invisibility ray, from then on, whenever he interacts with anybody, there's always a floating piece of food, so you know where he is. It's like, here's a hot dog. The Kingpin's talking, and then oh, here he's peeling a banana. And they're all like fairly phallic too. But anyway, it's and he's like short and dumpy, and he's wearing a suit, and everybody talks like they're 1930s gangsters. Like they're running hooch, during the Prohibition or something. It's like everybody's James Cagney. That's Hammerhead in the Marvel Universe, but seriously, they Cagney it up like crazy. And just going forward through these, it looks like they go to the Bermuda Triangle. It looks like there's another Spider-Man appearance, but it's a giant spider in a movie production. Gates of Doom, she's in Moscow, but you'd think with a name like that, Dr. Doom might show up. I don't know, maybe he does. They go to the moon. Then Dracula shows up. Then they take her powers away, and then there's a definite Star Wars spoof. Aliens try to invade Earth using black hole, and there's a Darth Vader looking dude with a Ming the Merciless cape. Yeah. And then there's the Great Magini steals the most famous landmarks. Apparently David Copperfield got a different job. A Crime in Time. This looks like it could be, Immortus or Kang, which is the same guy technically. And then what the hell is that? Spider-Woman is brainwashed by an alien race of human spider creatures. What? Is that something out of Adventure Time? What is that? No, that one. It's an Adventure Time character. And then she falls asleep in the final episode. You just watch her sleep apparently in the final episode of her entire 16 episode series. So holy cow. I want to hate it, but I love it. It's so freaking bad. Again, it's so freaking bad it's good. It's indicative of its time. So there's no questioning that, yeah, this is the way people should think and act in modern day. And it's not like it's offensive or anything, really. It's laughably dumb. Because Jeff, every time he's a total misogynistic jerk, he's pretty much shown up by Jessica because she knows that she's awesome, that she's the one with the real power, because she's Spider-Woman. But the fact that she does so much to denigrate her own self, her own identity, just undermines it. And the length she goes to is almost as laughable as the crap he spews when he starts making fun of, well, I can't see how anybody could have stole that much gold, even women, especially women. So, yeah, it's worth it just to look through the window of that era. Excuse me, my belly's rumbling. I better get something to eat. This is how you know it's not edited, because I would have cut that out. So I highly recommend Spider-Woman. I honestly thought it was going to suck. That it was going to be boring, and it doesn't live up to the quality of the animated shows we have today. We have some really awesome animated shows, but holy cow, this is just on a different level. So I've spent enough time talking about it. Let's pick tomorrow's. Can it even compare? 400 even. 400 flat. What do we got here? Oh, we already had it. Let's see what it was. Come on. Come back here. 400 was Once Upon a Mattress. Yeah, we're not doing that again. No. 198. I think we've had this one too. By the way, if you ever get a chance to read if you haven't read comics really much at all, or if you do read comics, you don't read Spider-Woman, the last few series that she's had have been really good. Due to the coronavirus, she just launched a new series and they had like one issue out before they had to stop the presses for a while. So her book hasn't been out for a couple months, and so it's easy to catch up on if you want. By the way, we've had 198 before, and 198 is Girl Meets World. All right, let's pick another. This is going to be our longest video just because of this. 566. We're into thus. Oh, okay. Nope. I'm not sure what this is. It is 566, right? Yep, 566. We got a short. I don't know what this one is, and I'm sure I'll be embarrassed once I find out what it is that I should have known. But it's The Band Concert. 566, The Band Concert. So yeah, let's check that out. It's going to take a whole lot less time to finish than to watch that than to watch 16 episodes of Spider-Woman, but I'm going to do it at some point. Spider-Woman all the way. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow.